Next, we have Stacy and Emiliano Alonso.
You can go ahead and start. Thank you.
My name is Stacy Alonso, A-L-O-N-S-O. I live in Northeast Portland. I have a kindergartner and a second grader at the Ainsworth Spanish Immersion Program. I'm here today because my son Isaac feels intimidated, harassed, and bullied by his kindergarten teacher. I am here today because there have been at least 20 complaints about this teacher in the past 3 years. I'm here today because the principal is ignoring, discouraging, and misrepresenting the parent complaints. I'm here today because the regional administrator has not conducted an acceptable investigation into these complaints. But most importantly, I'm here today to protect my son and the countless other children that this teacher will see in the future. This is what we're asking for you. This is what we want, and we've asked this since the beginning. We want an independent investigation into our complaints by a trained harassment investigator. The regional administrator informed us that he did not have any investigation experience or experience with using evidence-based strategies. The principal should be relieved of duties of handling complaints. We want the kindergarten teacher to be replaced with a substitute teacher pending the investigation and the resolution of the complaints to ensure that our children are protected. We want assurances that our families and staff members will not be retaliated against for filing complaints or cooperating in any investigation. The best case scenario is my son Isaac. He's afraid to go to school. He's afraid to raise his hand. The worst case scenario is we have kids who are currently taking medication, who are seeking counseling and therapy for this teacher's actions. I realize this is probably the first time hearing about this issue tonight, and I truly regret this. I've been following the PPS complaint procedure, beginning with, first I met with the teacher during conferences, and then I met informally with the principal. She explained to me that in order for anything to be done about this, that I would have to write a formal letter of complaint, that it would have to be signed, and that it would have to be shown to the teacher. I didn't write it for weeks and weeks because I was afraid of the retaliation that might occur of showing it to the teacher. After learning that this was not policy, I did write a formal letter of complaint. I asked the principal that to conduct an investigation. I asked my son to be transferred to another Spanish immersion classroom. I've never heard from her. I haven't received a phone call, not an email, not a letter. I then moved to the second step of the complaint procedure. I met with the regional administrator. In our meeting, he did not ask me one question. He doodled on his paper while I spoke. I asked many questions to try to better understand the policies and procedures of how we can make this better. He told me he'd get back to me at the end of the week. Then he told me he'd get back to me in the middle of next week. I've never heard from him, not an email, not a phone call, nothing. Not to my surprise, in the end, the original administrator and all of our complaints were found as unfounded. What you won't see in his report are the countless examples of intimidation and harassment seen by witnesses. The regional administrator also stated in his letter that it's not uncommon for teachers to behave this way. As an educator myself, I strongly believe that a teacher behaving this way is not acceptable.
Thank you. Can you please wrap up your comments? Thank you.
2 more sentences. Although we have a long list of complaints, I don't think it matters if it's 1 child or 5 children or 26 children in the classroom. If they feel like they're intimidated and harassed, this is not okay. Even if it's only 1 child, it's the teachers and the administrator's responsibility to ensure that it stops.
Thank you.
My name is Emiliano Alonso, A-L-O-N-S-O. I'm here because my son has a principal that lacks leadership skills and accountability. I'm here because my son has a teacher that lacks adequate training and experience. And I'm here because the regional administrator lacks ability to ensure he himself and those under him are following PPS policies and procedures. At last week's board meeting, the principal reported to you that one of the biggest challenges at Ainsworth is that Latino boys are behind in reading. Well, how is my son going to learn to read when he's afraid of his teacher? How motivated will he be to learn to read in first grade when he's already learned to hate school? Our plea tonight doesn't even touch on the fact that many of the complaints in the binders that you have there also talk about the kindergarten teacher's ineffective teaching methods and poor Spanish. I've volunteered in the classroom and, like others, witnessed incorrect teaching of Spanish grammar. I've witnessed kids struggling to understand what the assignment is, not because she's speaking in Spanish, but because she's not delivering the instructions in a way that makes it understandable. Please look at the binders. We want the board to know that this surely isn't the only struggling teacher that there is in the district. We're asking the board to be leaders in change, to ensure our students are taught by caring teachers who are trained and experienced. I've heard that Isaac's kindergarten teacher was hired 2 weeks before the start of the school year. I know that my older son's situation was the same. We didn't know who the teacher was until just before classes started. We must hire our teachers earlier and provide effective systems of accountability to ensure our teachers are providing excellent teaching every day and not just on the day they're being observed for reviews. These reviews are not a clear picture of what's happening in the classroom on a daily basis. We're asking the board to be sure to stop this practice. Kindergarten is a powerful year of schooling. It sets a foundation for the love of learning that they carry with them through high school. Kindergarten teachers must be kind and compassionate and provide a supportive learning environment to ensure all students have the best start to their schooling experience. We all understand that PPS has a lot of difficult challenges right now, but my son is intimidated and bullied by his teacher, and administration continues to look the other way. Children should never feel harassed or intimidated at school, especially by their teacher. This is about a poorly trained teacher placing my son in reasonable fear and emotional harm. Feel free to contact me or my wife for anything about this.
And go ahead and
Thanks.
look through your binders, there's lots more information.
Thank you both.